This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. You can follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite podcast platform. If you have questions or topic suggestions for Wendy, you can call us at 248-651-5010 or email at hello@nextstepsforseniors.com.
Hello and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones. And as all of you know, I really love to talk about the things that nobody else likes to talk about. And today's no different because as we age, we start realizing how important it is to stay healthy. And when we're not healthy, we also recognize how expensive it is to not be healthy. And a lot of times you need really good insurance or, a good system, let me just say that, in order to cover some of your expenses. And today I am pleased that I have a guest in the studio today that is an Aflac insurance agent. Would you call it? Is that what you call yourself? He's like, yeah, call me an agent. Yeah, no, this is Damien. Damien,
well, good morning.
We're so grateful you're with us today.
Thank you.
And you're so knowledgeable about, Damien just got done talking to my entire team because things happen in life sometimes and you don't expect it. And then all of a sudden you got all these costs associated with it. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, I have no idea how I'm going to cover some kind of a bill, You're not alone. We're all in this together, right, Damien?
Yeah, well, that's the good thing is actually thinking about it before it happens, because unfortunately some people just don't think about it until something happens, and sometimes it's too late, and unfortunately most of us don't plan for, the financial obligation dealing with a medical, experience. So it's good that, to think about it before it occurs and have a plan. So I guess it starts with this conversation.
Exactly. Right? So tell us a little bit how your programs work and how it can help people.
So really the whole idea behind Aflac is covering the finances or providing a cash benefit when going through a medical situation. We work with both individuals and businesses to help them basically round off their benefit options that are available to them. Most of the time it's limited to some type of major medical or, some company-sponsored plan, but, restricts, I guess, exposes us to a lot of, financial obligations with deductibles, copays, max out-of-pockets. In general, life is expensive.
Right.
So, having something, an insurance plan available to help make sure that those finances are there when experiencing an event, to make sure that, we don't have to adjust our lifestyles to get through.
Well, and think about it. We have insurance on our homes in case there's a fire or a flood. We have insurance on our cars, right?
Yes.
Our cell phones.
Rings.
Our cell phones, for goodness sake.
Yes.
So why wouldn't we help our own selves, our physical bodies?
In general, one of the most important things that we tend to overlook is insuring our paycheck. The one thing that provides all of those other things, so providing some type of disability insurance or paycheck insurance is really, really important, I guess, in that. Aside from that, though, we offer a variety of other plans.
I got to believe your short-term disability, though, is pretty highly recognized.
Yeah. It's I would say I consider it the most important simply because we don't work for fun. Right, we work.
Well, sometimes we do.
Yeah. But realistically, if you take any time off of work, even a day or two, it tends to hurt, right? And it creates this little bit of a hole that it's very difficult to dig out of. So that's pretty much it. Just making sure that we don't create this, this problem that's tough to get out of.
So short-term disability, let's stick on that for just 1 second.
Sure.
So if someone's, all of a sudden not able to work, right? It could be any reason.
Yeah.
They could actually contact you and say, and you've got to be on the program already, Aflac, right? And you pay a monthly fee.
Yes.
You would just contact you and say, hey, I'm out of work for the next 6 months.
Yeah, it's a very simple process. Ultimately, it requires a trip to the doctor, but as soon as a doctor recommends that you're not recommended to go to work, they fill out, a one-page form and ultimately make sure that we have money coming in for that time that they recommend you're off. So it's a very simple process. Oftentimes people think that it's like jumping through these amazing hoops when ultimately it's just a 3-page form that we need to get completed. So.
Right. And people don't think about it, like you said, until that happens. And then all of a sudden it's like, now what do I do? I'm out of work and I have no money coming in. In fact, I just heard a story today of someone who got in a car accident and broke her ankle, broke something else, and was pregnant. So baby's okay, but she's out of work for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And that employer can't, they don't have short-term disability, and that employer can't afford to just pay her to not work for 2 months. Yeah. So had we known, right? And hindsight's 2020.
And then after she gets back for her ankle, she's going to go off on maternity leave.
Yeah. There's that. I'm sure he's thinking of that as well. Yeah. So what other policies are there available through Aflac?
There's a variety of different plans based, going from simple like accident coverage, cancer insurance. There's hospital plans and critical illness, which is like heart attacks, strokes, things of that nature. The whole idea stays the same throughout the policies, ultimately paying a cash benefit. In those, it's more of what they consider an indemnity style, meaning they pay you for different procedures or the different, events involved in getting you well. So if you had a surgical procedure or an MRI or things of that nature, they would have a dollar amount attached to that procedure. So different than disability where it's paying for time, the other policies would pay for procedures.
So you work with both individuals and businesses?
Yes. So primarily working with everyone to make sure that they have coverage, but generally speaking, we work with businesses to help them expand or establish a benefits option to their own people. So,
absolutely. So are there any downsides to this?
The downsides really are just using it. So oftentimes people forget. I like to stay in contact with my people and make sure they understand what they have. Doing that, I guess, keeps them in touch with their policies, and then they tend to use it more. So I say the only bad thing or the only downside would be to have it and not use it. Unfortunately, it happens, but I say there's no point in having something if you're not going to use it.
Exactly. So I appreciate this more than you know, because a lot of people can have their own insurance already, correct?
100%.
And still have Aflac. This is like an additional program.
Yes, you can have the best health insurance in the world that leaves you with literally no out-of-pockets, or you can have no insurance and be stuck with a cash bill. We pay regardless of that other type of coverage.
It's a no-brainer. So tell us how to get on the program. What do our listeners need to do?
Well, it's very simple. If you could reach out, if you don't mind, I share my
share
contact
your phone.
information.
Absolutely.
My cell phone is 586-431-4333, but it all starts with a phone call. We can handle everything over the phone. It's a pretty simple process.
So filling out a form, getting the information, the proper information, and then starting your payments. Obviously, it's not a free program.
Correct. Very inexpensive, though.
What are the average premiums? I mean, do you have an idea?
Generally speaking, we like to say that we don't want you spending more than an hour to an hour and a half's wages per week on Aflac. So if that'll get you an idea, of roughly what you make versus what you're going to be spending.
Definitely worth it.
Yes.
Definitely worth it. I mean, for myself personally, we have, this copay, this astronomical deductible we have to hit every year. So you have an accident in January. I mean, you are messed up. You've got to pay a huge amount of money. I think ours is like $9,000.
Ouch.
So
Yeah.
I can't even imagine having Aflac set up and then not having to worry about that cost.
Well, definitely help ease that burden. So.
And give your phone number one more time. Is there a website also?
Yeah, it's aflac.com, or my cell phone is 586-431-4333.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Damien, because people don't realize as we age, especially the costs associated with taking care of ourselves. And if we're willing to insure everything else under the sun, why are we not willing to pay a little bit extra for ourselves, especially if you are working and there's an accident or something comes up? My goodness, coverage is important.
Absolutely.
So I am grateful for Aflac. Think of the additional insurance benefits that you can get, even if you already even if they're on Medicare, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't even matter.
No, Medicare, Medicaid, all that.
Fantastic. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. And don't forget, this radio program is going podcast. So you can search for it on your favorite podcast platform at Next Steps 4 Seniors, Conversations on Aging. Be blessed and take care of yourself.
Thank you.